Welcome to the News Hour. The strength of the jobs market stunned again today, with a report surpassing most expectations. Employers added 336,000 jobs in September, while unemployment remained at 3.8%. And we learned that nearly 120,000 more jobs were created in July and August than originally reported. Paul Salmon reports on a job market that continues to defy economic headwinds.
This morning, a jobs report that blew expectations out of the water. Economist Julia Coronado.
Yeah, this was a blockbuster report. We were on a slowing hiring trend through the last few months, and we just saw not only a great month of job creation in September, but upward revisions to July and August.
Where is most of the growth coming from?
One of the encouraging things about this report is that it's pretty broad-based. So the last couple of months, there was a very large hiring dominance by healthcare. Now we're seeing manufacturing pick back up, state and local governments hiring teachers for the school year, retail adding jobs for the Christmas season.
Leisure and hospitality, which hemorrhaged workers during the pandemic, finally returned to pre-COVID levels in September, adding 96,000 jobs, most of the gains in food and drinking places. And yet, persistent inflation, sky-high interest rates, strikes by auto workers, actors, healthcare workers, plenty of evidence to support the idea of a two-faced economy.
We have the economy taking divergent paths.
Economist Julia Pollack.
So we have parts of the economy that are growing and parts that are shrinking. So in states like New Jersey and California, for example, the unemployment rate has risen pretty substantially over the past year, while in states like Maryland and Massachusetts, unemployment rates have fallen. You see the same kind of divergence across industries.
Economist Coronado agrees.
There's a lot of variation in the experiences of consumers.
And some depends on age, says Coronado.
If you have wealth, you are much wealthier than before the pandemic. But if you're a younger consumer, you might have gotten strong wage gains. In fact, younger consumers did get some of the strongest wage gains, but they're also more likely to be renters, and rents went up faster than almost any other price.
So, no surprise, our call to find out how people are doing showed vastly different realities for folks of different ages in different places. Two faces. For example,
everything has gotten so much better. It's just recently gotten back to the point of even a little better than pre-pandemic.
Janice Blansett, who lives in Memphis. She's turning 61 next week and works as a freelance chef. Yeah, and it's people between your age and mine who in general are better off since the pandemic, right?
I have to tell you, Paul, everybody I know is doing better, even better than before. I mean, everyone suffered greatly during it, mentally, physically, economically.
And things may be getting even better soon as wholesale oil prices cratered this week. On the other hand, at the moment in Pinellas County, Florida,
just everything is more expensive.
That's what Carmela Paula sees.
Like my electric bill is almost 3 times higher. My homeowner's insurance, it's higher. My flood insurance is almost double. My utilities, such as my security system, is $25 more a month than before the pandemic.
Now, multiple polls and the Consumer Confidence Index have shown that most Americans have been similarly down on the economy. How come? Unemployment near historically low levels, inflation moderating, economy growing. So why are people so economically despondent?
Things are more expensive. So it doesn't, well, from a macroeconomic standpoint, we're seeing reassuring signs of stabilization. It still is a very different environment for consumers than it was a few years ago.
Even though wage gains have finally caught up with, even inched ahead of inflation some months. But, says Julia Pollack,
I think most people are comparing their fortunes either to the good times during the pandemic when they were getting cash from Uncle Sam, when they were able to pay down their credit card debt, and when there were all kinds of government services available.
Another factor, economic inequality, says Rebecca Riddell of Oxfam, the International Anti-Poverty Organization.
As corporate profits have hit record highs, and alongside decades of tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations, the very wealthiest have become dramatically richer.
And by contrast,
Census figures out last month tell that story. Last year, poverty jumped up as pandemic supports fell away, child poverty increased by record amounts, post-tax income inequality rose, and real wages fell.
so again, depending where you sit, the economy looks rocky or rosy. But after today's report, says Julia Coronado,
As a macroeconomist, it's hard to look at these numbers and see reasons for pessimism.
we'll soon see how many Americans agree. For the PBS NewsHour, Paul Salk.